Welcome to Rough Cuts.
Welcome to Rough Cuts.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
We will summon the demon.
We will summon the demon.
Home.
Come to us, Chevy.
No! Not that demon. No, shit. Fuck, shit, abort.
There's something about this movie that's very refreshingly family, you know, and still funny.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Something different about him.
I think you're imagining things.
What's the dog? He kept saying it was the dog next door that forced him to kill all those people.
Send your demon. You know, I think you're crazy.
You have the special strength to resist the beast.
Send your demon. Your son. Forget! 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 Send the beast. Send him now.
Who's the most evil person you can imagine?
You should never summon Chevy Chase. Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
Hi, this is about good boys and bad movies. It's Rough Cuts. We're watching today okay, it's not Demon Dog, it's Devil Dog. Is it The
Yeah.
Devil Dog?
It's just
Is it
Devil
just Devil
Dog,
Dog? Okay.
the Hound of Hell.
Okay, I couldn't remember where the was. I couldn't remember if it was The Devil Dog, Hound of Hell, or Devil Dog, The Hound of Hell. Okay. This is a 1978 made-for-TV movie where Boyks picked this out because you had pointed out that 9 out of our last 10 movies were obvious garbage, and
Yes.
we hated most of them. There's a couple of brief moments of sunlight in some of those, but in general, we haven't had one that was like a really fun B movie in a while. And
Mhm,
honestly, if you want to have a fun time with a B movie, pick a weird satanic panic movie from the 70s.
There's something about satanic dog movies that are just mwah, just perfect every
Holy
time.
shit, man.
Like, you can't go wrong. I don't understand.
It's
They're all good.
they're all fantastic. I'm Ilian. This is my wonderful co-host, the Boyks.
Hello.
And we had a lot of fun with this one, I'd say. I enjoyed this movie.
This was a treat. This was a treat.
It's not even that these are it's not even one of those things where it's like, oh well, these movies are so bad that they're good. These movies they're competent. They're really, like, it's well shot, it's well acted,
Mm-hmm.
and it's super fucking absurd.
It's
just so
like, man,
it's super
it's clearly it's like clearly TV, production.
Yes.
Clearly. But there's still moments of like, wow, that shot was really good, and what the fuck are they doing now?
They had set pieces. They have like
All
good
over the
set
place.
pieces.
Yeah.
Like when we start off with, oh god, okay, so we start out with this group of people that are at a kennel, like, and it just starts. This is the other thing about this movie. Holy shit, it goes. And that most of the movies that we've watched that are, again, like the 70s, like satanic panic kind of things, they tend to just scene.
Yeah. Oh, you're here for a Satan dog movie? We got you.
We got you. You're fucking in. Hey, listen, we called our movie Devil Dog. You're in. You got it. You're strap in. It's Devil Dog.
Yeah, we don't need to weave a tail. Just fucking go.
Yeah, you know what you're here for. You're here for dogs. You're here for Satan. We've got both.
Littlest Satan as a treat.
God, just movie.
Oh yeah, just movie. This movie doesn't want to waste your fucking time.
Right?
Come on in.
You came for Satan
Good morning.
Dog, and we're gonna get you a goddamn
How you
Satan
folks
Dog.
doing today?
Very well.
So you start out with a car pulling up to a curb, 3 people getting out that look like a mixture between Men in Black and the Addams Family.
Yeah.
Including like very weird stilted dialogue and stuff where they're like, it's hard to talk, it's hard to mention it exactly, but they're kind of very robotic, but also you can just tell they're instantly nasty, right? Like,
Hey, you're here for a dog? How's it going? Yes, we require a dog who is female, intelligent, healthy, and already bred and ready to breed again.
We want a female dog, your very best. Intelligent, healthy, one who's already given birth to a litter and proven herself. And is in season now, ready to breed.
All right.
yeah, like, yeah.
Okay,
Like, they're the
yeah.
most off-putting weirdos you can imagine, and they just show up at this kennel. The guy's leading them around, and of course, the minute the dog sees them, it starts whimpering and crying in a corner because it's like they're just instantly. This is 30 seconds into the movie. There are no credits. There's no opening song. There's nothing. It just fucking goes. It's like, hey, devil dog, you're in. Devil's dogs, we get it. And
Yeah. Welcome to these nasty people. Oh shit, nasty people. Hell yeah.
So then they're like, what do you require in exchange for this prime dog? And he's like, well, I kind of like the dog. I was thinking about breeding it with my prime stud. I'm actually kind of fond of Lady. We require, this is the one. We will pay any price. Any price.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, well, I mean, she's about to have a litter, right? That's like 7 or 8 pups, 500 each.
Yeah, if I stutter, yeah.
And then he starts like thinking in his head, like, oh god, I don't want to give these people this dog. I'll just throw a number out there that's absurd. I don't know, $5,000 70s money.
I'd like to know why you want it.
We're not adopting a child, you know. We're buying a dog.
Afraid I'd have to have a minimum of $5,000.
She's the one.
Okay.
The contract has been made. Like, it's that kind of thing. And then hard cut to them with a pentagram on the floor, the dog chained in the middle, blood on the walls, a gigantic 3. They have like a gigantic old like Renaissance style painting of
Baphomets.
this 3-eyed devil horned demon thing, and they're all chanting in robes in this big bar, and it's like, fuck yeah.
Send him now. Send him now. Barguest! Barguest! Come! Come! Barguest! Barguest! Come! Barguest! 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 Barguest!
That it's perfect. That's exactly what you want, though, right? Like, and it's a set. It's a good set.
Yeah, they don't need to set up where these people came from. They don't need to give them names. Who gives a fuck?
They have nothing to do with the story. You never see these people again. Like, they're in the opening scenes of this, and then they're never seen from again. It just sets it up that, like, hey, guess what? There's Satanists out there in the universe, and they're sending you their dogs. Spooky.
I fucking love it. I love it. I know. And then they start chanting to Barguest.
Yes.
And
Which I actually knew the name of that. It is the devil dog. Yep.
It's the devil dog. Yep. So we see the shadow of Barguest show up in the barn that they set up their demonic, summoning circle in.
Yup.
and it makes litter of puppies and this gorgeous, very friendly, lovable dog named Lady. Yeah,
Yes. Nice little
yeah.
German Shepherd.
What a cutie.
I say little,
Uh,
but I mean, you know.
yeah, German Shepherds are pretty big, but the point is, a litter happens, right?
Yeah.
Then we hard cut to a family. I guess in this case, just the husband and wife who are driving home, and they find their dog dead in the
Yeah.
road, which sucks. But it's sort of implied that maybe the Satanists killed their dog so they could replace it.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I don't know if
think
that
that it's
happened or
maybe
not, though.
implied. No, I'm
Yeah.
positive that's exactly what they were setting up, because it's like, oh well, they
Mhm.
stop and they go, oh my god, our dog in the road, and they like run out and they grab the dog and they're all sad and they put it to the side and they're like, oh god, I hope
Yeah.
the kids didn't see. Their neighbor comes over and he's all concerned. He goes, I'm so sorry, I just saw it happen. I tried to chase down the car that hit it. It was like this
Oh,
weird
because he
black
describes
station
the
wagon.
car that was the one that they drove up in, right? To go
Yes,
pick up
yeah,
the
and he
dog.
talks,
Yeah.
and a black station wagon, like talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
like again Satanism, this black station wagon, and
Whoa.
the way that the rest of the stuff happens makes it pretty obvious that this is all staged.
There's something really funny about Satan's station wagon.
I
Like, holy
Satan's
shit, can
station
you imagine
wagon
that? Yeah, I
running
saw it.
over
It
your
was-
dog.
It was Satan's station wagon. Like, what's he gonna do? Take his satanic kids to the fucking soccer game? What's he doing?
No, to Disneyland. Trust me, it's Disneyland.
God.
But
Right. But it's the daughter's birthday and her dog died. Right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
One thing I want to point out is that the daughter dresses like the girls from The Shining, like the twins. And it's
She
fucking
looks
creepy.
like she looks like Pollyanna. Like
Yeah.
she's like a 30s like
It's
Shirley
like
Temple.
she made her own
pigtails.
clothes out of stuff she dug out of the trash. I don't understand. What?
It looks like they enlarged doll clothes for her. Yeah,
It's
she's
so
a
weird.
she's a collection of the porcelain dolls that you find at like a grandma's house every single
I-
day. Like
I'm starting to notice that she becomes less creepy looking as the movie goes on, which is
yes,
weird.
no, as she gets possessed by the demon dog.
Spoiler.
For demon dog.
Yeah.
She gets less and less creepy, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
she starts-
what?
It's like, oh, I went out and got my ears pierced and started dressing normally and not having like weird little pigtails and bows in my hair. And
Yeah,
stuff.
and then
It's
you
like,
and I are like, oh, that's great. But in the 70s, it'd be like, oh, you're getting your ears pierced, right?
Mhm,
Like, but
mhm.
now it's just normal things. So that doesn't even like what?
No, it doesn't register at
And
all.
I stopped dressing like a creepy doll.
Oh my god, our little girl's growing up.
Yep. So as the kids are outside after the birthday party, right?
Yeah, because she goes in for her birthday party. She's crying because the dog's
Yeah.
dead, and none of her friends show up because she's all sad and she doesn't want them over. Like you said, she's outside to go on
Yeah.
a bike ride by herself because she's so depressed. Her brother comes to join her because he's a really good brother and is like, hey, listen, I know that you're really sad. I'll just ride with you. And then
The vegetable farmer shows up.
Hiya, kids. Do you think your mom would like some nice, fresh corn or cucumbers?
as the 70s has. Yeah.
What?
Every time, normally
Yeah.
listen, back in the days, you would have your milkman would show up and give you the Bible, and then your vegetable farmer would show up and give you Anton LaVey's writings
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
Satan.
Yeah. So the vegetable farmer shows up with his truck of vegetables and he starts trying to sell them to the kids. And then they notice that there's a lady in the back with a litter of puppies. He's like, "Oh yeah, I also have satanic dogs." Wow.
This is my mixed vegetable and satanic dog business.
Honestly,
Would you
they
like
gotta
a
be
free
doing pretty
satanic
well
dog?
for themselves, right? Like that's a good
Right, yeah.
business. Yeah.
It turns out business is booming. They're able to get all those dogs out the door.
He hands the girl one of the puppies, and she instantly becomes attached to it.
And totally forgets her dog died that day. The dog that she
like,
loved.
An hour ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not even. It's like honestly, it's like 10 minutes.
10 minutes, yeah. But so she takes that puppy and she's like, "Can we keep him? Mom and Dad said we could have a new dog." Well, I don't know. We should probably ask them. Oh, well, I'll just take the dog back then. I'm sure there's other kids that want a satanic puppy. No, this one's mine.
Well, now, if it's going to be a problem with the folks, I sure don't want to cause any trouble. Don't worry. There'll be plenty of kids who want this little fella.
No, please. We'll take him.
I guess it's okay.
Good.
And then she runs inside and she goes, "This has been the best birthday ever."
Yeah, and the best thing about it, though, is the vegetable farmer's like, "Yes, I have given you a satanic puppy. Now let's fucking cheese it before the
He
cops
just fucking
come."
peels out.
Cheese it.
Don't want to sell any of your vegetables?
No. Shit, I better get out of here before they find out.
That's why I'm like, no, come on, the station wagon hitting their dog is like, this is a full setup. Like, he comes in and blocks the kids so they can't drive away, and then he like fucking peels out 30 seconds after giving them the dog. And the whole time he's got like the creepiest fucking smile.
It's
great.
like a smile that goes too far up his mouth, up his cheeks.
Yes.
Like, yeah,
Yo.
it's gross. I love it. I love it. I love it. Man, okay, so they go in and they bring the pup in. It's still her birthday, so she's got her cake on the table. And their neighbor George shows up with his dog Prince, who is a Great Dane. And
Prince rules.
Prince is a sweet boy who would never harm a fly. And the puppy meets eyes with Prince, and the eyes start sparkling.
Yeah.
And then Prince does a bad thing and steals the tablecloth and the cake and runs off.
Yeah, he runs under the table and rips the tablecloth off.
But
yes, that's and the cake gets destroyed. And the girl's like, "It's okay. This is still the best birthday ever. I love Satan.
My day is so good now that a demon has entered my life." And we as the audience are like, yes, yes, yes.
It just, this movie fucking goes. It just starts.
It's like from 0 to 20. It's just bam, 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 bam.
0 to 20. Like the lowest speed.
I mean, it's the 70s. They were driving fast. Come on.
Yeah, they could barely get those Model Ts to go at all.
Right, so then their Christian maid shows up.
Yes,
wearing a cross, and she takes one look at the puppy, and the puppy looks back. She's like, "Oh, that dog's a demon."
Oh my god, that dog's a demon. And she starts doing crosses and everything.
1 second of seeing that dog. Oh, that's a fucking demon.
Yeah, like it is literally instant. She just she walks in. She goes, "Oh, how are you all doing?" Dog. Oh, starts crosses everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
Another one? I should have guessed it. Isn't he divine? What is it, Maria? Oh, nothing.
It's so good. It's so good. But that night, the family leaves to go out for dinner or something, and they leave their maid at home. So I don't know if you want to explain.
Well, she puts the kids to bed and talks to the dad, and she says to the dad, "Just so you know, I want to let you know, you're not going to believe me on this, but every time that I look at that dog, it gives me horrible chills.
Oh,
you should get rid of that dog." And he goes, "Yeah, okay." And kind of has
whatever.
Yeah, sure. My dog's a devil. Anyway, so then she goes and sees the the dog that is a devil. Yeah, they all go and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the school for a play." They said
they did. Yeah,
this movie. This is probably a good time to address this because basically she comes in, she starts cleaning, she tells him the dog's the devil, and then he goes, "Yeah, okay. Anyways, we're going to that play at the school now that has never ever been mentioned before and will never be mentioned after." And that's why I want to talk about that for a second, because this movie does that all the time.
Anytime it's convenient and they need people out of the scene, they're like, by the way, we're leaving. See ya. Yeah.
I've got
all the
karate
time.
practice. I don't know. Like they will just pick
During
anything at
karate?
random.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
like it'll just be like, oh, well, I needed to go to the veterans hospital to do my work. Wait, what work is she do? What? Huh? Where'd she go? Okay, she's gone. All right, well,
But to be fair,
who knows
I
what to
don't
do?
need to fucking know. I just want
Exactly.
Devil Dog. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
in general, it would be a detriment to a movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie feels like, though, a bit of, it's kind of a downside in a way, but also it's what you wanted from this movie. You want to see Devil, you want to see Dog, and it just cuts out any of the fat. There's absolutely nothing in this movie that isn't that. Every single interstitial scene is fucking gone. It feels like watching a highlight reel of best moments from a movie. Like,
Yeah,
there's
that makes sense,
there's
yeah.
no transitions in interstitial scenes. Later on, he goes to see what I can only assume is an occult bookstore owner. The reason why I can only assume that it's that is because he goes and there's one scene where he finally realizes that, oh wait, maybe my family is possessed. And he's kind of sitting there standing forlorn in his living room. Next scene, he's sitting in this weird bookshop with this lady across him, and she goes, yep, sounds like possession. And you're like, where the fuck did this come from? You've never seen this woman before. You never see him getting there. You never see him like looking her up in a phone book, like under occult bookstores. Nothing. It's just, hey, listen, you're gonna get it. You understand that this is an occult bookstore. It's fine. Whatever. We don't need to tell you.
Establishing shots are for cowards.
Right?
Yeah, you don't need an establishing shot. You're here now, and you're fucking in, and we're talking Demon Dog.
Yes. Anyway, so they just swiftly exit the movie because they exit the scene because they need to, because then the maid goes to go to bed, I guess, and she looks at the dog one last time, does another cross, goes into her room and starts like doing some kind of, I don't understand all of like Catholicism kind of stuff.
I think it was just prayers in general.
Yeah, they have like, but they have like some kind, they have the candles and stuff, and they have like a patron saint and all that. And so she's got a couple candles there and she's lighting them. And suddenly her sleeve touches a candle, and she has apparently been doing a lot of kerosene work recently.
Oh, yeah.
She's just soaked in it. And she goes up like a fucking torch instantly.
And the dog mentally shuts the door on her and locks her in. Yeah. As the puppy's just staring at her with these gorgeous eyes.
Yes. Yeah,
Being
these glowing
adorable.
eyes. And she's screaming,
Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega, Señora, por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén, Jesús. Dios te salve, María, en el gracia, Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres. Bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús.
the family comes home. The dad goes like, Maria, wait, do I smell smoke? And like runs in, looks around, opens the door to her room and goes, oh my God. Anyways, hard cut to a year later.
Anyway, a year later, we're never going to address this. Goodbye.
Also, they don't immediately say that it's a year later or anything. There's no text call. There's nothing. This is what I mean. There's absolutely no interstitial scenes in this movie at all. It just suddenly shows them out on the lawn, and there's the fully grown German Shepherd, and they're like, wow, it's so wild that it's been a year. And you're like, wait, what? Has it been a year? What the fuck are we doing?
Just hard cut. Wow, a whole year. Anyway.
Yes, you don't even realize it quite right away because she's dressed slightly less creepy, and she goes, well, I just got my ears pierced. Don't you like it? And then it's like, wow, yeah, this must be a great birthday. And we're like, wait, so is this still the same birthday? And then it's like, well, it seems like the next day. And then the dog's big, and they start going like, oh, well, yeah, it's been an anniversary since we've had Lucky from your last birthday. And we're like, oh, okay. But it takes a little while to even let you know.
So at this point,
you should take this scene. Yes.
Yeah. The husband, Mike, is outside trying to fix his lawnmower, which is plugged in.
This part, yeah, I
Fucking
was
idiot.
annoyed that it was plugged in. I'll still admit
And
that.
and as he's messing with it and putting the blade on with his bare hands, the family leaves, and then Lucky comes over, sits down, and starts staring at him all creepy like again. And then the blade just starts up on full speed, open,
Yes.
directly facing him. And the dog's staring at him, and he's staring at the dog, and this dog's staring at him, and he's staring at the dog, and he's like, I'm gonna put my hand in that.
You know what? Let's touch the fun spinny.
But his hand's shaking, and he pulls back. He's like, no,
What
Oh,
was I doing?
okay. Everything's fine. Anyway.
And the blade
Well,
just stops.
Yeah, and then a year goes by. He's like, oh, that was weird.
I was a little, like I said, I was a bit annoyed that they didn't show the lawnmower being unplugged, right? Like
Yeah,
it looked like they
something.
should have shown that the lawnmower was unplugged, but it looked like it was plugged in, so it was kind of like, less weird. But I will admit, and you and I both did this, it's a good tension building scene, actually. Like, it was getting a little hard to watch. We both started going like, ooh, I don't
It's a
like
really
this.
good
Like,
scene because it's
it
like
lasts for about a minute. Like, it's a long scene.
What is going on in my head is way worse than what is going on screen, and that's just good
Yes.
filmmaking.
Yep. Yeah, it does a good job of building up the tension because you're like waiting for his hand to get mauled, and you're like, oh, how are they gonna show this or whatever? And it like kind of keeps getting closer and closer and closer, and then he clenches it and he pulls his fingers just barely back from the blades, and he starts shaking, and then he reaches again, and you're like, okay, it's gonna no, and it like that's way better than actually showing the gore. Like, it ends up being a really cool little moment, honestly.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So at that point, we get a scene where the dog calls the children to the attic at night, and we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, they just wake up in the middle of the night,
But
and it
they're
shows them
alluding
like
to something happening up there.
yeah, they grab like some candles and follow the
was
dog, and
creepy.
it looks like they're almost sleepwalking, and the dog just
Yeah.
leads them upstairs, and then they're in the attic, and you don't know why.
The important part about this is we thought it was just Bonnie, the girl, who got possessed, but then we find out that the son, Charlie, is also possessed by the demon. So I think that's the main point, and the other thing is
that it's kind of spreading its influence around. Yes.
And after that scene, the dad leaves to go work for the night, and the mom's at home with the children. She's calling him, and she's like, oh, I think something's weird with the kids. Like, I found blood in Charlie's room.
Yeah, she goes into the one kid's room, and he's an artist. Like, he does some pretty good drawings. There's actually some really good drawings in this. And she's like kind of cleaning up his room a little bit, and then she knocks over a pot of what looks like paint, and it is very obviously blood. And he's like, oh, it's for an art project, Mom. Don't worry about it.
It's
anyway,
just art, Mom. Come on. It was a surprise for you.
I found this in your room. What is it?
It's just paint.
It looks like blood.
Leave my things alone. Get out of my room and forget all about this. I mean it.
What's the matter with the two of you?
Hey, I'm sorry, Mom. Really. I didn't mean to be rude, honest. It's just that we work so hard.
We wanted to surprise you, Mom.
Come on, let's wash that goop off your hands.
What do you mean, surprise me?
Well, it's just some dumb art project, you know. You'll see it later. Come on, I'm starved. I want to get some breakfast.
I dunked this crucifix in piss, and it's art. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I don't
art.
think that is art, but you know. So yeah, he's kind of, it's just an art project, ha ha ha. And at first he's like really nasty to her, and then when she starts getting on, like the dog kind of nudges his hand, and then he's like, "Oh, sorry, Mom, it's just a surprise." Like, and
I think
does
they
a
do a
good
good
subtle
job of
hint
making the dog creepy with that. They do. Like,
And it's a good like way to show that the dog is obviously kind of in control, right? Like the kid's going, "You're going too far. Nudge, nudge, nudge." You know,
Yeah.
Don't play your hand too much here yet. And yeah, so then she's alone with the kids, and she's calling him in a panic and going like, what the fuck is going on with our kids? There's some weird shit happening. And he's, oh, I gotta work late. Sorry, hun, can't talk. Click.
Yeah, whatever, bye. Things have to happen in the film. Oh no, something's gonna happen in the film.
Mm-hmm. This movie it so does that. It does not give a shit at all
No,
about, like...
it's great. And immediately after that phone call, the kids get up and like, oh, by the way, I have to go. Bye, see you later. You're home alone with the dog now. Have fun.
And she's like, wait, what? Like, no, you never told me. And she's like, no, I told you I was going over to Stephanie's. Duh. And he's like, yeah, I've got karate practice. Bye. And she's like, you don't even take karate. She runs out the door. Like, she does say something like that. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the kids just run out, and she's like, oh, fuck.
Where are you two going?
You know I said I was going to Susan's house down the street.
I got karate class tonight, Mom.
Oh, no, you
I
don't.
can't miss the first lesson. I'll be back in a couple...
Will you wait a minute? Wait!
So then she's alone with the dog.
They did a really good scene here where our dog... Oh, they did name the dog. It's Lucky.
Yeah,
right?
It's Lucky. Yeah.
So Lucky is standing there staring at her, and she's reading a magazine. And she keeps putting the magazine up, and then when she looks up, the dog's sitting closer. She looks down. She looks up, the dog's sitting closer. It's like, It's really
They
good.
also show that that's like over an hour.
Yeah.
Like the dog, which when you think about it, it doesn't really hit you because of the way the scene is done, because it makes it seem like it's 5 minutes. But when she looks over at the clock eventually, and you realize it's been like an hour or something, and it's like, Jesus, that's actually kind of creepy as shit that you're sitting there like reading a book, and the dog is staring at you from 10 feet away. And then after 30 minutes, you put the book down, and the dog's now staring at you, but it's from like 8 feet away.
Yeah.
You pick up the book, and you start reading for another 10 minutes, and you set the book down, and the dog's now 5 feet away, but still staring at you. And it's like, okay, this dog has just been like sitting there just staring directly at me for a fucking hour and like moving about an inch every 10 minutes. What the shit? Like it starts. Yeah. So it's a neat little, it's a funny little moment. Yeah.
And at that point, Lucky starts a fire in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I guess somehow using
there's just a
demon
bunch
magic.
there's just a bunch of pans that are on the stove full of oil that are burning, which she then immediately does the best possible thing with it and pours water all over her grease fire, as you would do.
So it shoots everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing you want to do with a fire, it's spread it around. Everybody loves a good fire. So she dumps them in the sink, though, and pours water over them and is like, what the fuck is happening?
And then the demon appears and chases her into a room and then possesses her.
Yeah, the door is open and there's like this wind going through the house. Very Evil Dead. It's
super Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
I think they even do like the first person camera Evil Dead thing.
They do a little bit a couple times. Yeah, they show it when the farm early on, when the bar
they do for
comes
sure.
in.
Yeah.
They actually do the full Evil Dead. Like, I mean, this is obviously long before Evil Dead, but they do the whole, like, it's first person camera, like zooming across the ground and coming into the barn. Yeah. So they do a similar thing here, and she locks the door, but dun dun dun, too late. And the dad comes home and he goes, honey, like, are you home? I'm sorry, I'm so late. I and can't find her anywhere. And you're like, oh, well, she's dead. But he goes into the backyard, and actually she's just in like this sexy nightgown smoking. And he's like, oh, I was gonna apologize, but it looks like I don't.
But it looks like we're going to Bone Town.
Ooh, all right. And he goes, I should work late more often.
Yeah, and she's like, how about instead of Bone Town, we just go to our neighbor's backyard and swim naked in his pool?
What? Where are you going?
To swim.
In George's pool at this hour?
Yeah, like normal people do. And he goes, wait, what? No, that sounds...
Wait, should we do that? I mean, he might see.
That sounds pretty fucking weird. But then she strips naked and jumps in the pool, because she hadn't told him, like, oh, I just stripped naked. She said, maybe, why don't we go for a late night swim? And he's like, well, like in our neighbor's pool? That's a little weird. And then she just strips naked and jumps in, and he goes, okay.
I guess we're doing this now, yeah.
well, I'm not gonna say no to that. Jumps in the pool after her. And so that kind of ends that little moment. So now you get a good idea that the mom is behaving extremely different.
The next day, they're having an argument with George, their neighbor, who's been their friend, who has Prince, the Great Dane. And they're yelling at him because their dog, Prince, keeps barking at Lucky, because Prince understands there's a demon in that dog.
Yeah, and they're like, all your dog does is bark. The stupid Prince, all he does is bark. And he's like, Prince is the best behaved boy. I don't know why he's like this anymore. And she's like, well, you know, a vet could help you with that and put him out of his misery.
I've had Prince for 8 years, and he's always been well behaved.
Maybe he's just getting old and senile. A vet could put him out of his misery.
Yeah, what the fuck? It's like really obvious evil bullshit.
Oh, yeah. And he's George has the right exact answer for this. He's like, I have had this dog for 8 years. You will need to kill me to get me to kill this dog because I love this thing. You will never, ever, ever touch it as long as I'm alive. So anyways, George is dead.
Well, yeah.
I know, but it's like the biggest flag that George is about.
Yeah, because Lucky sneaks over that night and kills Prince in his backyard. Yes. And then the next day they have an argument.
It doesn't show that, but it just...
No, but...
That's implied, yeah.
But the next day they have an argument over his dog being dead. And that he wants their dog...
There's cops there and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and the cop's like, not my problem, and fucking leaves.
Yeah, and they say like, oh, like the dog was torn to pieces, and the dad comes over there, and his wife and the kids are there, and they're being unbelievably awful. They're like, I'll fucking kill you, George, you piece of shit. Like, you're the worst. And he's like, we've been friends for 15 years and my dog is dead. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
And the dad's like, hey, like, let's all calm down. We've been friends for a long time. Let's just cool ourselves and we'll discuss this as friends tomorrow, right? Like, this sounds like something we need to work out.
George is no friend of mine.
And the mom's just like, and it's like, whoa, and he's like listen, what the fuck is happening, what is going on? And so he's like, I demand their dog be destroyed, etc., and he's like,
I'll kill that dog myself.
And the cop's like, this seems like it's not my problem, gets up and walks away, and end of scene.
That night, bum bum bum.
Yeah, you hear a scream in the room.
Yeah, Lucky sneaks over again and kills George, which Mike hears, but his wife calls him back to bed and says, forget about it. And the most wild the most wild thing about this is that Lucky fucking drowned him in the pool.
Yeah.
What? Like somehow, he held his head down or something. Like, what?
In the middle of the pool. Yeah.
What?
He's just floating upside down in his pool.
Anyway, George is dead. Did you know that Charlie's going for class president?
Wait, what's this, huh? Politics? Yeah, they're having elections. That's great. What do you think your chances are?
That is stupid large.
8%?
It was the 70s, yeah. They made
buttons. That looks so fucking ridiculously bad.
They made buttons the size of a fist.
Bye, Dad.
They weighed 45 pounds.
Back when things were made in America.
George!
America.
George!
Yeah, like next scene, he comes over. They just had the scene of, George, I've been your friend for 15 years and all this stuff. And then he finds George dead. Very next scene is breakfast in the house. Oh, Charlie's going for class president. And you're like, what is happening? We're just not gonna address that at all. Your neighbor's just fucking dead, huh? All right. Listen.
Nope.
going into George being dead and talking about it and having a big thing about it wouldn't be related to devils, and it wouldn't be related to dogs. And there are two things that this movie is about. It's about devils and it's about fucking dogs. So we're just skipping it, okay?
You're not here. You're not here to see
it.
grief. You're here to see a devil dog. A
Mm-hmm.
devil dog. And god damn it, we're giving you that devil dog.
So fucking good. So yeah, just immediately Charlie's going for class president. That's the son. And he's got like this comically oversized button that has Charlie for class president on it. And the dad's like, so and the kids go off to school. God, actually, how does the next thing happen? Is it then
so he goes off
comes?
to school, and then the counselor Miles shows up at the door the next night and is like, oh, how's it going, counselor? Haha, weird that you're here. You know what the fuck you did.
Charlie answers the door and is all
piece
like,
of shit,
oh,
you
hey, it's so good to
motherfucker."
see you. And he's just a smarmy little shit. He does such a good job of it. He's like, oh, it's so weird to see you here since I'm getting straight A's. And the counselor's like, yes, I know that you're getting straight A's. And he's like, oh, well, I'm so glad that you're here to tell my parents what a good person I am, kind of thing. And he's like, you know why I'm here, you little fucker.
Yeah.
Good little moment. Yeah.
It's real good. You know, you always get a little worried when your counselor comes by to see your folks.
I think you know exactly why I'm here.
The actors, I just want to point out for a real quick second, apparently the siblings have played siblings before, specifically in Disney's Witch Mountain series. So they were like well-known child actors of the time. And honestly, they do a really good job. They do a good
job. They do, yeah, for sure.
Everybody in this does really well.
Man, this movie is actually pretty good. Like, it's not great, but it's good for what it is, right?
It knows what it is, and it just narrows down. It zooms in exactly on that one thing. It goes straight for it. All of the actors do their absolute best with the material, and then their best is pretty solid. And it's shot competently.
Every scene is like 3 minutes. 3 minutes. We don't need more time to linger on a scene. We got things to do.
We listen. You're here for a TV movie where it's gonna fucking go, and it's great.
So Miles talks to the parents to tell them what Charlie did. Charlie was running against another kid, Bob, I think. Who was going to be
Bobby
class president.
African.
Something like that.
Which was like, what the?
But he frames him as stealing a watch and gets all of his friends, who he's also influenced with demonic energy, which we see him talking with them actually the day before, I think, to say that they saw him steal a watch that he then planted in his locker. So he got removed from the race for class president, which means Charlie won by default.
Yeah.
So that's what he wanted to talk to him about. And at this point, we find out the dad also had another counselor show up, apparently off screen, for Bonnie, who said similar things about lying and cheating and stealing and all these other demonic, probably listening to rock music.
And Ayn Rand, his wife here, starts going, well, they should crawl over the corpses of all the others that are standing in their way for their success.
American way.
It's the American way. Yep. She actually says it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is perfect. He'll be president of the universe one day if he just keeps on murdering and framing everybody in his path. It's perfect.
Charlie just seems to be willing to stop at nothing to succeed.
It's the American way, isn't it? I mean, since when aren't we rewarded for being best?
And the counselor leaves after talking to them for a bit, because she's like, get the hell out of my house. We're done here.
She tells him to fucking leave. She gets fucking pissed.
And that night, Betty, the wife, leaves in the middle of the night and comes back in a skimpy dress.
Yeah.
And Mike approaches her and is like, hey, what the hell? Where'd you go last night? Oh, to the art museum. Actually, I checked that place and they said you weren't there. Oh, well, I went to Miles' house. Why'd you go to Miles' house? To change his mind. Wink, wink, nudge, wink, wink, nudge, wink, wink. In that dress? Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, wink.
And he's like, wait, are you saying that you're seducing him? And he's like, that wouldn't work on Miles. Like, Miles is a good friend of mine. He wouldn't do that. And she's like, well, it did work on him. I fucked Miles. And he's like, oh my God. Like, she basically says that. She
does.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I'm going to go talk to him about this because this is some bullshit.
Yeah, and he's,
yeah.
I want to stress here for a moment that he's not like, it doesn't seem at all like he's mad at Miles and like a jealous husband. He's just like, this is fucking weird. Like, my wife doesn't act like this. And he's like, you've just been lying to me over and over. He's like, I just want to get the straight answers. I'm going to go talk to somebody who's actually acting normal and I can talk to them and find out what the hell's going on. So he doesn't seem like he's like in a rampage mode.
No, it's not like a jealous husband thing, really.
No. I just wanted to like, because it sounds like that on paper, but it's super not that. It's just, he's like, okay, my wife is lying and acting weird and I don't know what the fuck is happening. So I need to find somebody who maybe has some perspective on this. And because he's being gaslit by his family real bad.
100%, yeah.
He keeps on going like, am I the one that's crazy? Like, am I wrong and they're all right? And like, I'm just losing my mind because they keep on going like, what do you think is going on here? Like, everything's fine. We're just doing a little murder and framing.
For fun.
Painting with blood. It's fine. And yeah, so he drives off to Miles' house. And at the same time, you get a pretty cool shot in a way of just like the dog running in slow motion down like dark, empty streets.
Yeah.
And I liked that shot with like the creepy music behind it. And it just shows this dog slow motion running. And he pulls up to Miles's house, but he's too late. The dog's already there. And Miles wakes up in bed, looks down at the foot of his bed, and the dog is there. And it's got the glowing eyes. And then suddenly...
Suddenly we see Burgest in all its glory. Superimposed over the window with like a Rottweiler wearing a cute costume with horns on it. It's so cute. It's so cute.
It's very fuzzy. The costume is very fuzzy. I actually thought the costume looked okay, but also the superimposing it over things is fucking horrible.
It looks real bad. But like, so the dog's just going, roar, I'm a dog, roar, 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 I'm a dog, roar. Which scares Miles out of his bed, and he comes running out of his house as Mike drives up. And he runs out into the street and then immediately gets hit by another car going the other direction. Not Mike's car.
No. It does tend to just...
Is that Miles?
Oh, maybe. Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
no.
that's Miles. Maybe? He just looks like Mike.
Yeah. Two totally bland white guys.
Bland white people. That's the whole film, yeah. Holy shit.
Oh.
Yes! Yes!
Demon dog. That was a real fluffy puppy. He didn't get hit, yeah. Then the dad like turns and looks and sees Lucky standing in the middle of the street, just staring at him weird, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And so then the next scene is him in the doctor's office, and the doctor's like, "Well, you weren't scheduled for a checkup for another 6 months, and it looks like you're totally healthy." Or wait,
he doesn't go to the doctor yet because that night, well, he goes home first. And his kids are playing ping pong with his wife.
Right,
yes. And they're being little shits. And he comes in, he's like, by the way, Miles is dead. Oh, wow, weird, huh? Guess he'll never have to come confront me again. Anyway, ping pong.
Yeah. The kid just, they're like, he's like, don't you have anything to say about, like, that's another friend of yours, like a friend of the family dead, like one of your teachers? And they're like, guess nobody's failing English this year. It's like,
oh, wow,
little fucker.
So he sends them to bed and then confronts his wife. He's like, I don't give a shit about Miles. He wasn't my lover anyways. I was just fucking with you.
I don't think she says that. He says that she's, that's the lover, and she goes, eh. And
Yeah,
she
whatever.
doesn't. I don't.
But-
She kind of brushes over it and like she doesn't care.
Yeah, that night, after his wife's being a fucking awful person to him, he goes to bed with her anyways, in the same bed, and they hear chanting in the attic, where he then goes into the attic.
Oh yeah, this does happen before the doctor, doesn't it? Yeah.
And he's going to the window, which has been covered, or like a piece of wall has been covered, because he notices blood dripping on the floor above it.
Yeah, he goes up to the attic very slowly and finds all this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids and the wife are just sitting there creepily in a chair, staring at him, like, "Don't touch that."
Yeah, it's one of those funny moments where like the wife was sleeping in bed beside him
She
when he first gets up
teleported.
to
What happened?
Yeah, when he first gets up to go and check in the attic, and he goes and looks, and he doesn't see any of them in there. But the minute that he goes over to like pull off this curtain where there's blood dripping behind it, then suddenly all three of them are behind him, and she's on this little throne. Like, they've got like this old chair that's kind of half painted gold, and it's just. And the kids are like, and she's just draped across it, and the kids are like sitting there with her. It's such a great little scene of them like lazily just kind of like, ooh, like doing the satanic, sexy thing. And
he pulls off the
down.
sheet. Pulls off the sheet, and behind it is a drawing of the three-eyed demon that
it's
his
the
son
son's art
drew,
project.
That his son drew in blood. It was art. It's fun.
And she goes, it's just a cool art drawing. What's the problem?
Come on. It's just art. Let's go, Dad.
And he's like, it's 3 a.m. You're chanting. There's a pentagram in the floor.
Yeah,
there's
the pentagram.
Candles. There's like red candles everywhere. Is this blood that they're painting with? And they're like, it's just a cool art project.
Like, they don't even try to like kill him.
No.
Nothing. They're like, what are you talking about, Dad? This is just normal art. Let's go to bed, you silly.
What in God's name is this?
It's just a picture.
You were up here at 3 in the morning, painting that picture,
That's right.
walking around, chatting, burning candles.
Just painting.
Why?
So we could finish.
It's really rather good, don't you think, darling?
You out of your mind.
Children, bedtime. Off we go.
It's effective in a way because at the same time I can see that, like, I mean, if your family starts doing that over a couple of years, it's just he's very gaslit. Like, because they're like, oh, this is normal. Like, what are you talking about? Like, anyways, kids go to bed and like, we'll just get up in the morning for school. And it makes him start to question a lot. Like, am I the one? Like, am I just losing it? Like, am I imagining these things? And so he goes to see the doctor. And the doctor is going like, well, you weren't scheduled for a checkup for 6 months. Like, you seem fine. All of your test results are normal. Is there something you want to talk about? And he goes, well, what do you know about dogs and devils
and demons?
And he kind of explains this whole thing.
Possessed families and murders. And
he says that whole thing to the doctor, and the doctor's like, wow, that's really interesting. Anyways, here's some tranquilizers.
And I suggest you go to Hawaii for 2 weeks.
Yeah, go to Hawaii for 2 weeks with the wife, and you'll end up feeling a lot better. And he goes, you didn't believe a word that I said. And he goes, no, I believe that you believe it, which, I mean, devil dogs. It's a pretty hard thing to believe.
You know?
So the dad runs out of there and is like, fine, fuck this. And yeah.
After the doctor's visit.
Yes.
The husband goes home.
Is this when it hard cuts to the plane? No, when
Not yet, no. He goes home, he confronts his wife about Lucky. She says, you're delusional, it's just a dog. And then
I remember what happened.
They were listening to the news, and as she leaves the scene, we see the news story about a guy who's shooting up the place at his house and is shooting at the cops. And the wife's being interviewed. She's like, I don't know what happened. He just started murdering all these people. He's never been a bad person. He said something about that dog next door. That dog next door.
Dog. Dun, dun, dun.
So then he's thinking like, wait a minute. There's a dog next door. So he grabs a gun.
Yeah, because everybody has one.
From, just sitting around on a table. And he takes the dog and he drives Lucky to the country. And he's like,
and the
I'm
kids
sorry,
are like
boy.
yelling and screaming at him, and the wife's yelling at
Mhm.
him, and
Yeah, if you do this, you're gonna hate yourself forever. So
if you drive away, don't come back. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So he takes Lucky to the country, and I'm sorry, boy. I got it. If I am wrong, I'm wrong. Blam, 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 blam. But blam, blam, blam. Oh fuck.
Yeah, it seems like the bullets just disappear. They don't show anything happening. It's not like the dog stops the bullets. It's not like the dog gets shot but comes back. It just sits there and he keeps firing the gun at it, and the dog doesn't do anything. And
it's like he
no
just
bullets.
misses. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But it's not even like he misses because there's no like puffs of something in the dirt around the dog or anything. Like it's just the bullets are just gone.
Yeah, but
so
he
in any
leaves Lucky
case, he
there
can't
and
kill the
drives
dog.
back.
So he
Yeah.
peels out and is like, fine, fuck it, I'll leave the dog in here.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls into the driveway, and his daughter, who had yelled at him, if you leave, you never come back, you fucker. He pulls up, and she's in the yard petting Lucky, and she goes, oh, I can't believe that you're home already. Where have you been? Lucky's been home for hours.
Oh, hi, Dad. Where have you been? We've all been so worried about you. Lucky's been home for hours.
Yup.
Hard cut to plane.
Well, hard cut to the occult shop.
Oh god, I keep on.
He doesn't go to the plane for a while. He still doesn't go to the plane for a while.
I keep on getting excited because I really want to talk about how it hard cuts to just plane.
Yeah, because this movie just takes a fucking wild turn at some point.
Oh yeah, I know. I want to get into the wild turn, but
but it hard cuts to the occult shop.
Yes,
and there's a woman there going over a book,
which we kind of talked about.
And he's like, "Have you ever heard of the Barghest?" Or she's saying that to him.
Yeah,
the what? An evil goblin dog.
The goblin dog. Everyone knows about goblin dog, right?
I have a book right here. Let's talk about demon dogs. Okay, movie. Let's talk about demon dogs.
Ooh, it's unfortunate that you have a three-eyed devil. Three-eyed devils are very clever. One-eyed devils are the ones that you want. They can't see so good.
Yeah,
really talks. She does really say that.
Yeah, and she goes in back to get a bigger book of demons to look for that specific demon. I want to point out that there's a cat on the table during the scene, which is just lounging, and you see it, and it is having
cat I've ever
such
seen.
a good time. What a good cat!
That cat is out.
So she brings out another book. She's like, there's no real references about this demon except for this one where they have a three-eyed demon on the side of a cliff in Ecuador. In Ecuador, huh? Yeah, a cliff in Ecuador. That's the location. Is there a specific location? No.
Nah.
Okay.
A demon of unknown origin. Painted on a cliff outside the city of Quito, Ecuador. Yeah, well, but that's all there is, isn't there anymore?
I'm afraid this book is rather incomplete, but it's a start.
But the important thing is you can tell if somebody's been possessed if you put their face in a mirror while they're sleeping.
Yeah. If you're brave enough.
Yep. So that night, while his daughter Bonnie is sleeping, he creeps up into her bedroom with a mirror in his hand, and he shines it, points it towards her face while she's sleeping, and we see Pazuzu.
I am Pazuzu. She's got all these boils.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell. Like that Pazuzu, from The Exorcist. It's like literally the makeup from The Exorcist.
And I feel like so The Exorcist 2, the one with Pazuzu in it, right? Or is it 3? I think it was 2 that's Pazuzu, right?
One of them's really fucked up. I
thought that 2 was Pazuzu. But The Exorcist 2 came out in 1977. This made-for-TV movie that was probably put together pretty quickly came out in 1978. So you can
probably a reference to it,
or just at least influenced by
ideas,
it.
Yeah. So that night, he sees the face of Pazuzu and his daughter, Then it hard cuts to him on a
Then hard
plane.
cuts to plane. Yeah, it just hard cut just shows a plane going over like
I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's like Pazuzu or whatever.
I am Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally that.
It's just plane.
Well, it's time to go to Hawaii.
Time to fucking leave. He's right. Another country kind of thing. And then it shows... It doesn't show the plane landing. It doesn't show the airport. It doesn't show anything. It just shows him sitting at the bottom of a cliff, staring at it as a taxi guy, like, waits for him. And it is an actual yellow cab taxi in the middle of this, like, backwoods-ass jungle in Ecuador, supposedly. And you're like, okay,
What was his plan? She told me it's a cliff in Ecuador. I'm gonna fly to Ecuador and ask them to take me to a cliff. Like,
I mean,
what?
It brushes over all that. Who cares? He finds the cliff.
Fucking cares?
We don't know. How did he find an occult? How did he find an occult shop? Did he look it up in the yellow pages? Who knows? Just fucking brush over all of it. You don't need any of that shit. Just he's at an occult shop. Who knows how he found it? Who knows how he found the cliff? He found it.
My daughter's a demon too. I'm getting the fuck out of here quickly. It's so funny.
He doesn't talk to his family. He doesn't they don't show any of that. They don't show him leaving. They don't show him packing bags. Nothing. This is just cut to plane, cut to him in front of a cliff, and you're like basically the scene is this. Mirror sees her, hard cut, he's in the occult shop. Next cut, he's on the plane. Next cut, he's in Ecuador on a cliff. You're like, okay. Fair enough.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't need to know any of that shit.
It's a great twist, honestly, in a way. Like, just how wild this movie just goes out of nowhere. Because I expected it to be just only the suburban stuff. I expected it to just,
it's certainly
slowly
cheaper,
kill the family.
Right?
Yeah, you would think so. So he's staring at this painting on the wall, and the cab driver eventually goes like, yo, it's not going to start talking to you, but my great-grandfather is a shaman who could certainly help you. So
he lives in the woods. I'll take you there. Anyway, I'm not going...
3 days drive.
Yeah, it's 3 days drive. You want to pay? It's a taxi. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further. You can get out.
And he goes, well, where is he? And he goes, I don't know. He'll find you. Drives off.
Just fucking leaves him in the woods.
Yep.
Like, stupid American. Like,
yeah. All right, robbed this guy, left him in the woods. Sounds great. But if he is just sitting there at like a lake, just kind of waiting for the guy to show up. And this guy shows up, and he goes, well, you see, I have this very cool holy symbol that I drew on my hand in between classes in Bic.
Yeah, with a big pen. Whoa. Can I get that circle on my hand? Oh, yes, you can.
Certainly can.
For the low cost of 100 American dollars, I will draw a circle on your hand with a pen.
Oh, God, it's really good. It's so obviously bicked onto his hand. It's really funny.
Oh, man. So he draws the symbol on his hand with a pen and tells him to go home. And all you have to do is do the most dangerous pet of all. You need to pet that pup. Pet that pup with that hand. He's scared of that hand.
Yeah, it's supposed. So he says that if you the hound, if you look into its eyes are a portal into the netherworld, and if you look into its eyes, then you will tumble down into hell forever. But this symbol is like a holy mirror, and so it will reflect its bad magic back at itself, and it will send the demon back to hell, because who gives a fuck? It just has to be some bullshit. And then he's like, so give it the most dangerous pet, just don't look in its eyes while you do it, because you'll get all fucked up.
Yeah, that pup is a good boy, but you might go to hell if you pet it. Now go, my friend.
He's like, it might be the cost of your own soul to save your family.
And you're like, but I want to pet that pup.
I want to pet it so bad.
Because the whole movie, the dog would let him pet it. That's actually
Yeah,
a thing.
that is actually a thing. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tries to pet the dog at one point, and
Yeah.
the dog just kind of like dodges down out of the way, and he's like, "It's weird. This dog's strange. It doesn't like getting pet from me. Like, I don't know why."
Yeah, so this whole thing, I think this whole thing was just the story of him wanting to pet his dog. Now that I'm
Yeah,
thinking
absolutely.
about
It's
it.
about a man and a dog pet. It's kind of some foreshadowing with all the hand stuff too, because it's the like same kind of thing where it was the lawnmower reaching
When he
in
pulled
with the
his hand back, yeah.
It was the whole thing with trying to pet the dog. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing to it, despite the fact that this movie has no time to spare on any interstitial scenes at all. It somehow still manages to have foreshadowing, which is like kind of impressive, honestly. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really impressive that they managed to squeeze foreshadowing in this movie that has absolutely zero downtime. This movie has no chill.
So he's in the jungle getting a circle drawn on his hand with a Bic pen.
Mm-hmm.
The guy tells him what to do to go pet the dog. Don't look at his eyes. Hard cut to plane. How did he get back? I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. He walked back. He walked to the airport. You don't understand. In Ecuador, this mountain man in the Ecuadorian rainforest up in the middle of the mountains, it's actually a good 30 minutes away from the airport. It's a really hot tourist spot.
Man, he was in Ecuador for all of 2 hours.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So he flies back, lands, gets in his car, starts driving home, and Lucky's just there in the middle of the highway, staring at him. And Lucky starts leading him back somewhere, and he's like, "Oh hell no! If we're gonna duel, I'm gonna duel you where I want to. We're going this way, fucker.
I'll pick the place." Yeah, that's what he says.
I pick the place.
And then he goes into his work that we saw in one scene at the very, very beginning. Wind-caught aerodynamics. And he goes, I don't want to go anywhere where I know where everything is and things aren't weird and spooky. What I want is a really, really dark industrial zone where there's it can come at me from any direction. And it'll be dark and steamy and full of pipes and other things where it can hide. That's
genius.
where I want to fight this dog.
It's genius, right? Where's the dog gonna go?
Anywhere, as it turns out. But he goes in, gets the security guard to open up. And
It's like, oh, you want to go fight a demon dog in the industrial complex? Yeah, go ahead, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Absolutely, Mr. Oh god, I can't remember what he called Mr. something, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Lets him in, and they have this duel throughout the like I said, industrial pipes and steam and all of that.
Because the dog's basically like stalking him through it. Yeah, and he corners him against a wall, and we see Lucky. And then Lucky transforms into that really shitty superimposed dog wearing devil horns again, Barghest. And then Mike holds out his hand for a pet, and he gets that pet. Oh, he gets that pet.
He gets that pet, but he doesn't get the eye. He has to.
So he's got to go back. He's got to go back for another.
He's got to go back for a second pet. He's got to go for second pets. I mean, what we got first pets, but what about second pets? So he goes and it shows him grab another handful of fur, and it's like, wait, no, that's fur still. You got to grab the eye, dude. So he goes for a third pet, and then he gets the eye, and the dog.
That's the pet that gets it.
The dog Ouroboroses itself back to hell, I guess. It's not too bad when it's not like overlaid. Like the actual costume of it is fine. It's the overlaying of it is terrible.
Yeah. The pet. He gave him a pet.
Oh, he gave him the danger pet. Well, that actual costume looks good.
Another pet.
And he's like trying to find the eye.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. told you not to look at this. Stop looking. Quit it.
Ah, who gives a shit?
Oh, man.
It's not gonna matter. Yeah, and the whole time Mike's just staring it in the eyes. Like he was told to do.
Yeah. They really don't do anything with that at all. That was really funny. He's like looking at the dog. The whole, like there's this big light that comes down the hall at him first before the dog appears. And what does he do? He turns towards the light, opens his eyes as wide as possible, and stares at it. And you're like, I feel like there was something said about this about 30 seconds ago in this movie. When
yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. You're here for Demon Dog. I don't.
Yeah, it's not about dog. I
care.
don't know. So he holds out his hand, gets the dog. Dog goes back to hell, and then he drives home, and his wife comes out and runs to him, hugs him, and goes, "Oh my God, is it dead?" And he goes, "Yes, it's dead.
We did it." And then it hard cuts to them moving out of the house. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're packing up, and the kids are like, "Wow, is it really over? It's really over." Wink.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, they're gonna show something else.
Like they could have ended this where like one of the family members is like, "I'm still possessed and I'm gonna kill him" or something, right? Like
yeah, they could have done some.
They could have done something
another
like that, but
show another dog somewhere, or show like he's actually possessed now because he looked in the eyes.
yeah,
right?
like that. Any of that would have been a good ending, but instead Charlie goes, "Wait, wasn't that litter of puppies like 10? And that means there's 9 left out there."
About what Bonnie said. About it being over. Well, there were 10 pups in that litter. Where do you suppose the other 9 are?
And then Mike's like, "Well, not our problem," and fucking leaves.
And they just drive off, and then credits happen. Yeah.
Sequels, baby.
I'm sad that the ending is so lackluster. Where like, I wanted them to have the cheesy twist of like the dad's eyes shine, or something.
They should have. They set it up for that. Even like
they really did. Yeah, but they just don't do anything with it. They just kind of end the movie.
I kind of like how he's like,
yeah, whatever. It's not our fucking problem. Dude, I'm done dealing with devil dogs. They do also show as like part of the foreshadowing, by the way, with the hand thing, is that when he holds out his hand to the dog, they don't show him getting mauled or hurt anyway. But
no.
They show him right after that wrapping his hand up, and then like his hand is all bloody when he gets home and stuff. So there's kind of again like that through line of like the hand injury and the hand stuff, and
I feel like man, they really should have ended it with like his hand being possessed or something. Like that would have been a really good ending. But
we thought for a moment like that actually it was going to do he had to chop his hand off because it's like Evil Deaded. But they don't get into any gore in this, really. There's nothing like that. I think there was probably would have been too racy for a TV movie, so they probably didn't do that. Although they have the upside down drowned body, and they have a couple of little things here and there.
A little bit of gore, a little bit of nudity, but it doesn't show anything.
Yeah, it's
like bordering the line of TV scary movie. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think this aired as a Halloween special when it came out.
Sure.
From ads I found online, like they were pushing this film.
I really enjoyed this thing. I thought it was a lot of fun. It is obviously cheesy. It's not perfect. It's not some masterful work. But there are some moments of legit tension. Him pushing his hand towards the blades on that lawnmower was like legitimately kind of upsetting to watch. And like it's a very stupid premise, but it's played so straight, and the rest of it is done so well for that. Like you said, it feels very Exorcist, and I
think this is like a perfect B movie Exorcist like spinoff,
knockoff,
knockoff, whatever. It's one of those, and for a B movie with low budget, damn, it does a good job of just having a good time. Yeah,
every actor in it does a really, really good job. There's absolutely nobody that stands out as being like bad at all. And these are, again, one of those things where if we were more savvy about like 70s, we would probably know a lot more of the like the actual actors' names. But when you look them up, like the kids were in a bunch of Disney films as child stars. The dad is Richard Crenna, who was in like all of the Rambo movies and then parodied that same character. He parodied that same character in the Hot Shot films.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So he's like in a lot of different things. The Shaman in the Woods guy was a very famous like character actor from the 30s who was even in like Gone with the Wind as a major character. And like, so I mean, everybody in it has chops. Like they're actual good actors. These are real people. I'm sure they're not like A-list celebrities, but it's, you know, like that good character actors kind of thing is what they grabbed for this. And they all do a really good job. Like all of the acting in it is really well done. They play it very straight and it just works. Like it works as a fun
even
little...
the script is good, I think. Like,
yeah.
It's just like a short story script. Like, it's good.
Yeah, it almost feels like you know what it feels like when the minute you said that the script works and like it's almost like a short story, it kind of feels like a Twilight Zone or like a Alfred Hitchcock Presents kind of thing. Like it feels like kind of campy, kind of cheesy, but also like straight enough and well done enough to just work. Like it's just kind of okay.
I could see this movie becoming a cult classic of some kind. I honestly could. Like it's
fun.
It's that fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got to rate the pups. There were 4 dogs that I remember being characters. Anyways, there's Lady.
Yep.
The German Shepherd. Lady's a good girl. Loves pets. Great with children.
Loves Satan. Like
loves Satan.
Sexy loves Satan.
Yeah.
Gets down with Satan.
Lady's a good pup. I would rate Lady a 12 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's Lucky, of course. Lucky loves Satan.
Well, Lucky is Satan, as it turns out.
It is Satan in some... Yeah, so would I count Lucky and Barghest as the same dog? Like, they're different dogs in different scenes, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're the same. Is like Damon from The Omen, the Antichrist, and Damon?
Here's the question. Is Barghest Lucky's stand? I think that's how that works.
Every time that Lucky's on scene, just sitting there staring at somebody, you hear doo 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 doo.
Yeah. I think that's the case.
Yes.
Yeah. I would rate Lucky a 6.66 out of 10. We've only rated one other dog that way, and I think that's accurate.
I'm a little sad. I do think that I would rate Lucky a 6.65 out of 10 because I think that, well, here's the thing.
Controversial.
Greta has to maintain that crown because Lucky, what did Lucky do for kills? Lucky, like, mauled somebody, and Lucky went and like drowned somebody, right? Like it mauled the other dog, it drowned the one person, set somebody on fire with mind powers. Greta cut brake lines, okay?
And poured poison in a glass and then stirred it.
Right? Like Greta,
that's true.
Greta had some fucking chops. Greta could kill with style, is what I'm saying. Greta threw a hairdryer into a bathtub to kill a motherfucker.
It's true.
And I mean,
Greta's pretty hardcore.
Lucky has to get, just rated down a little bit for that. So just a slight bit down.
In that case, the last dog would be Prince, the Great Dane, who is George's sweet, sweet dog. I love that boy. The sweetest
Prince
boy.
Was real sweet. That dog looked awesome. I really liked Prince.
Yeah, 13 out of 10. What a sweet boy.
He's sweet as that cake that he dumped on the floor hiding from Satan.
Okay.
Didn't deserve to get pulled in part.
Did not deserve anything that happened to that pooch. No.
So are you rating, you said a 13
I said
out of 10?
4. Yeah, I said 13 out of 10.
Is that how many pieces Prince was in at the end of the movie?
No, I think it's because it's an unlucky number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lucky did unlucky him.
Yeah.
Lucky undid him, that's for sure.
And then I was gonna do 4, but Barghest is lucky, so that's the same.
I think that just
That's
the
the
same.
All right, that's the pups. That's Devil
the pups.
Dog, the Hound of Hell.
I counted up the number of pets in this movie, and there is like one extra pet besides the danger pets, and it's just when the dog's like, "Hey, dude, you gotta play it a little cool." To
Yeah,
Charlie,
he's like, oh, right, I
kinda
gotta
nudging
pet the
him.
pup, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm possessed, but I gotta be kind of nice to pretend.
Yeah.
Oh man, this was a very fun movie. I hope that you all enjoyed the podcast as much as we enjoyed watching this one. This one was really fun. And
Yeah.
if you want to follow us and check out, like, we'll try and put up maybe a couple little scenes and different things like that on our social media as we normally do. So you can always check us out on Twitter at Rough Cuts Cast. Or if you have some movie ideas that you'd like to send in, something you'd like to see, you can send it to roughcutscast@gmail.com, and we'll read them off on air if you want us to. Or, you know, like, we might try and do some suggested movies. We've done a couple in the past. Soccer Dog was a real good one. And besides that, thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, I've been working on this circle too in my art room. It's looking great, by the way. I think you should stop by and take a look at it sometime.
Oh, cool! I've been making some red paint for an art project of mine. So I mean, maybe we could.
Oh,
like,
nice.
collab
Yeah, we
together.
can combine the two. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got some.
I think that we
man, I just got a new CD in too. It's got this awesome chanting too.
Oh my god, some Gregorian!
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Oh, okay. Like,
all right, we got a weekend plan. See you, folks.
He's the only one not possessed, huh?
That's why he's noticing. Yeah.
It's also like he's the one that resisted, right? He didn't shove his hand in the blades.
Yeah.
You must have been dreaming, darling.
He's got the power of being an unremarkable white guy.
Yeah.
No demon could ever possess him.
I was wondering about that too. I was gonna say, like, so why exactly is he immune? God.
You know I can't get
He's unremarkable in every way.